Sunday's 4-0 win over DC United featured some incredible play from the Timbers throughout the match. There's plenty we could pick to break down from that match, but Ross Smith chose one particularly impressive sequence, and he's joined by Timbers head coach Caleb Porter to walk you through it. It's X's and O's presented by Oryx Solar.
Well, we've got a special X's and O's as head coach Caleb Porter has stuck around to talk about a sequence that may have flown under the radar. It didn't lead to the goal, nearly though, Caleb. And if I throw these numbers, I know you know these numbers, but 34 passes in this sequence we're about to watch. 20 of those one touch, and everybody gets a touch on the ball. When you're in your technical area, what stands out to you as we look back on this sequence that we talked about in DC?
Well, you see right here to start, we're trying to play out from a goal kick on the ground. Ideally, we want to build attacks on the ground because it increases our chances of maintaining possession as we move towards the goal. But then also you'll see, because they pressed us, we reset through our goalkeeper. And this is where, as a club, we have to be smart. You know, we want players that want to play out of the back, but also if the pressure comes, we have to bypass that pressure. So you'll see as it goes back to Jeff, he goes direct because there's pressure on the ball, but then we have to win the first and seconds. And ultimately, freeze it, whether we build an attack on the ground or we end up bypassing the pressure, we want possession and position in the front half where we can control and dictate the tempo of the game, move the opponent around, and try to create chances on goal.
How about this? Nagbe, a little bit unorthodox, but it's under control. What are you thinking in this little sequence here? They're having fun? Yeah,
they're having fun. You can see the confidence, obviously. And if you freeze it, just in terms of looking at, you know, the shape, obviously you see Nagbe is our left winger and he's all the way on the right. We give that line of three in the 4-2-3-1 underneath the striker a lot of freedom to interchange and rotate. When you look at Valeri, Nagbe, and Blanco, all three are very creative, very technical, and they do interchange some, and it's important that they do that in this system.
I know you talked about as well the spacing, the triangles that you see in your team. You seeing that all over?
Yeah, it's a simple concept, but to keep the ball, it's important that you maintain triangulation, you have good spacing and ball circulation. In theory, if you create triangles, then the person on the ball always has two options to pass, and you should keep the ball.
You talked about, during the broadcast to us, saying the patience that your team showed. Is this a little part of it right now? You're not going back to front, you're actually starting to work it from side to side?
Well, again, once we get position in the front half, it's about creating chances. DC does a nice job of getting numbers ball side, so we always talk about switch and play to try to create where the space is. And in a lot of ways, you're using the ball as a decoy. You're getting them thinking about the ball and forgetting about the goal. And the more we move the ball around and rotate them, eventually we find opportunities to penetrate.
You see that they're starting to get a little strung out, a little unbalanced.
And then again, freeze it, we're back to kind of where we were. So we had, 45 seconds of possession. We couldn't penetrate, but we maintained possession. We went back through to, again, pull them out.
Yeah.
And you see Guzman in between. We create that three with him. But ultimately, you'll see at the end here, the most important thing is we create a chance out of it.
Thing that stood out to me as well, everybody wants on the ball. This is your right-sided center back accepting the ball with pressure on him. Shows signs of confidence.
Yeah, and again, the purpose, right? We play through lines around the corner to Alvis. He's our outside back. And we should have scored.
Yeah. Should have been 5.
I can't say that we mapped out all 34 passes on the training ground exactly like that, but that would have been pretty special if we would have scored.
Well, it was a special game to watch, fun for us to call. Then, Jake, warm up your vocal cords. It's going to be surely another fun one to call on Sunday.